Good afternoon. Looks like evening out there because it's dark. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Free Teach, probably the most popular maths channel in the planet, probably the universe, actually. Let's get real. Today we're going to look at using our calculator to, with an introduction to calculating trig values, and then finding missing side lengths and rearranging trig equations, then evaluating to find what that side length is. Okay, so firstly, quick one here. We've got some questions. It says, what's the sine of 50? What's the cosine of 16? And what's the tangent of 77? All we're doing for this is really learning to punch it into your calculator. Okay, scientific calculator, somewhere on there you will have three buttons. They will say sin, cos, tan. They stand for sine, cosine, and tangent. All right, what we're going to be able to do, I'm going to use my CAS emulator over here, and I'm going to plug in that first one, sine 50. So what I need to do, go down here, select sin, type in 50. I'm going to be good and close my brackets and get a number. Okay, so our number there is 0.766. Now it says to go to 2 decimal places, so because it wants 2 decimal places, this one right here, the 6, probably make that a bit. Okay, that's 6 there. Is telling this next one what to do. Okay, so instead of 0.766, we want to cut it back to this one because that 6 is 5 or above. It's going to put that 6, it's going to round it up to 0.77. All right, so that's our first one. Okay, next one, go down, give it a cosine of 16, enter, and we get 0.961. Okay, 0.961. All right, that there is not going to round up 6, it's below 5, so we're going to leave it at 0.96. And lastly, we're going to use our tangent and plug in tangent of 77. And the tangent of 77 is 4.33. So to 2 decimal places, we get 4.33 because the 1 there is 4 and below, so it rounds it down. Okay, so that's simply using a calculator to evaluate those trig functions. All right, now earlier or last lesson, we saw how to set up a trig function using the reference angle. Okay, so here we've got a reference angle, but this time we've got a value for the reference angle. Okay, and first thing we need to do is identify what 2 sides we've got to work with. Okay, because we don't need 3 sides to work out the trig equation. So across from here, we can see that that's the opposite side, and across from the right angle is always our hypotenuse. So if we look at our SOHCAHTOA, we can see that hopefully 2 sides that we've got match our sine function because we've got the opposite and the hypotenuse. So sine, so we can start writing that out. Sine of the angle, which is theta, or normally anyway, is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Now what I want to do is substitute all the values I can into that. So sine of 38 is equal to the opposite, which is x. Okay, so we don't know that, over 7. Okay, now we want to be able to rearrange this. If we go back to our algebra, then we look at what's happening to the thing we want to get on its own. So what's happening to x? It's being divided by 7. Okay, the opposite of dividing by 7 is to times it, and do the same to this side. So to flip 7 to the other side, it's got to be doing the opposite thing. Now we can get rid of those, cancel each other out, and rewrite our equation. So 7 sine 38 equals x. Right, now this is back to evaluating. We can't evaluate that without a calculator. So if we go over here, we're going to go 7 sine 38 and get a value of 4.309. Now we want it to 2 decimal places, so that 0 is going to be rounded up to a 1. The 9 rounds that up to a 1. So we have 4.31 is the value for x. We'll go over and take a look at this one now. There's our reference angle, and if we label the sides around that, you can see that here we've got an opposite similar to the first one, but here that's the hypotenuse there because it's opposite the hypotenuse. Here we've got the adjacent side. So you look at which trig ratio has opposite and adjacent in it. So TOA has opposite and adjacent. That means we're using the tangent to solve this one. So let's just plug everything straight in. So tan of the angle is 42, is equal to the opposite x over the adjacent, which is 4. Now, similar to last time, we're going to do the same thing. X is being divided by 4. To flip it over that side, jump the equal sign, we're going to times that by 4. Okay, it does the opposite over there. So they will cancel each other out. And we get 4 tan. You can put the multiplication in there, it doesn't matter either way. Most calculators accept it either way. Okay, 4 tan 42 is equal to x. Now we just have to evaluate that on the calculator to find out what it actually equals. 4, go down and choose tan 42, and our value is 3.6016. It wants it to 2 decimal places, so 3.61 is that side length. So what that tells us is this side here is the length of x, and this 4.31 is the length of x there. All right, gang. I hope that helps you out sorting out how to use the calculator to calculate trig function values, and also throwing a little bit of our algebra in there and how to set up our SOHCAHTOA and our trig equations. All right, thanks guys. See you next time.